We have the dailies. You wanna take the lead
Yes.
with the daily graphic?
So on the daily graphic here, on the front page of the daily graphic, we have government launches PFJ2. Initiative focuses on affordable, timely credit. And controller freezes CTAG members' salary. Leaked tape on IGP's removal. Tape is authentic, contains my voice. Bugri Nabru reveals. Adainimo Ejako ready for runoff. Best farmer advises youth to embrace agri-business. And that's what we have on the front page of the daily graphic.
All right. You know, some people are suggesting that maybe instead of doing the runoff, because yesterday I was telling
Yesterday you said something like that. Yesterday you said something like that.
I don't understand the whole idea. Do you understand? Because if imagine you have a race, let's say 100 meters, right? And two people are tied at bronze, right? They will both get bronze medals.
True, yeah.
They don't do another race to separate them.
Well, here, we're not talking about a medal, though, so I guess that's why they have to rerun.
The issue is, do we have money for another run? Because you see, every time we run the elections, it costs money.
Yeah, it costs money.
Do you understand?
That's
it makes
thing,
sense,
another angle.
You know, to save money and say, listen, 5 and 6, no big deal.
That's
Let all 6 go.
Yeah.
Do you get it? And then now we'll find our smoothest level.
True.
I don't know, just thinking around, right? Anyway, I have the daily guide. It says here, Bugri Nabu's bombshell, I recorded IGP tape. Now, I don't know if you watched any of the proceedings in Parliament,
yesterday, right?
He was confident that, look, whatever is happening here, some people are going to be in trouble. It's not going to be him. So, yeah. Bahama pokes into MPP affairs. Nana launches PFJ Phase 2. And MPP NEC decides last position run-off. And we have NHIA gets $27 million World Bank boost. Okay. All
right, so on the anchor, we have Mediama terminates first enemy, progress to next round of CAP Champions League. Headmaster assaults female SHS student. And if you have been following this story on Twitter, you would or X, you would realize that this is actually a big issue, and the picture is so gory.
Yeah, it's a nasty situation that needs to be dealt with harshly.
Right.
I hear the headmaster has already been relieved of his responsibilities at the school, but I think that beyond that, criminal action needs to be taken against him, because that's assault.
Well, that's true, and you see, it's not just about him, though.
He got. Well, yes, but you see, the thing is that he's in charge.
Yes.
Do you understand, of the school? She says, I had an exit, and I had permission, right? And as she was explaining, he won't listen to the explanation.
Yeah.
He's rather, jumping the gun and starts to, cane her.
Yeah.
And so she's kneeling on the ground. She says, kneel. So you are kneeling on the ground. And he's caning her while she's on the ground. Now, as she's protecting herself from the cane, she grabs the cane, and then he gets even more angry and then slaps her.
You see, and why
that's assault.
That's assault. You see, why I said it's not just about him is that there are a lot of people like him that assault students in the name of discipline.
Yeah, but you see, so this is where we need to make an example.
True. Do
you get it? Yeah, it has to be a criminal case.
All right, so moving on. No Ghana card, no pay. Public sector workers told as controller moves to clear ghost names. Bugri Nabu spills the beans. Names senior police officers plotting IGP's removal. Interesting.
Yeah, he named them. 3 of them. The Chronicle has these headlines. It says, Phase 2 of PFJ takes off. Bugri Nabu blows cover over COPs Asari and Mensa. Police quell attack on Tamale Court. Now that's another one that I think we need to make an example of certain people, because you see, the court is the bastion of final protection, as it were. It's like if you're seeking redress on an issue, you go to court and hopefully you get justice, right?
Right.
if the court can be attacked randomly by anybody who gets up and thinks they can just get up and go to the court and start to pelt stones and do whatever they like, then the society is crumbling. And we need to send a strong message.
True.
Strong message to anybody who thinks they can just get up and attack the court. Strong message. It will not be allowed. It will not be countenanced. Not in this Ghana. You see, and if we joke with it, you see, a few years ago, a similar attack happened in Kumasi, where some people just walked into a court in Kumasi. Yes, and started, manhandling and heckling and doing all kinds of, yeah. And they were not dealt with strongly,
properly,
harshly. It was like, because it was a political thing, so it were treated with, somewhat kid gloves. If we joke with this thing, before you realize, because you see, if the people feel like we can't go to court and get justice, we don't feel like the court will protect us.
Yeah.
The court is strong enough to handle our
or
business.
Has power to handle our problems and businesses,
Then people will now start saying, you know what, I'll handle it myself. The court is so useful to me.
True.
A chaotic society is what we are preparing.
True.
Anyway, Educhum engages teachers on educational reforms. And the scripture for today on the front page of the Chronicle says, Proverbs 22, verse 29. It says, do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings, and they will not serve before officials of low rank.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So on the Business and Financial Times, we have here a BNFT interview with IMF resident representative, the IMF supported program, an update. Corey's CMO Charles Kolo sheds light on strengthening the middle class in West Africa. Adelaide Sial Ejapon is 2023 Outstanding Female in Entrepreneur Education. Bold economic reforms yielding positive results, and that's by the IMF. Invest in sales to ensure business success, EK Brand Consult. Majority of farmers earn less than 500 Ghana cedis per crop season. Wow.
That's horrible.
Season?
Yeah, that's horrible.
500 Ghana cedis.
So if a crop season is 3 months,
yes,
that means in 3 months you're earning 500 cedis for all your effort. That's
a problem.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that actually provide the food that we eat.
So that's, we can't look at and I've always said this, we can't look at the best case scenarios to judge how well our system is working.
True.
You look at the worst case scenarios and say, who's the weakest of us? Who's the weakest link? How are they faring? How are they doing? Who's the poorest? How are they doing? And to really understand how our society is doing, that's what you've got to do. And
it's actually a problem that the weaker link is actually the majority too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very unfortunate. Anyway, the Daily Post has these headlines. That's my last paper here. It says here, Mahama rescues former Black Queen's goalkeeper, provides decent, self-contained house for her and capital to start business. Wow. Imagine this. You play football for your
country,
nation, and your career is over and you are destitute. Which has been the case for a lot of our sports people over the years. It's only more recently that a lot of people have plied their trade in other places and, been able to make some decent earnings, to set themselves in a good place. Occupy BOG, prepare to honor your constitutional mandate, minority to police. I gave the tape to Akufo-Addo, Bugri Nabu speaking on the plot to remove IGP. And your party is responsible for the sad state of our nation, Dr. Apak is telling the president. Okay, so that's what we have on the papers.
Right.
I don't know what we have on some CitiNewsroom.com.
So heading to CitiNewsroom.com, some of the headlines that we have here. NDC threatens to sue EC over limited voter registration. And when you head to top trending stories, we are committed to addressing concerns from Saturday's poll, Evans Nimako says. JUSAC condemns attack on Tamale District Court. Two-tag Bogatanga Technical University teachers strike. And Kumasi girlfriend murder. State attorneys ask for time to file witness statements.
Okay. All right, fantastic. There's a story here that I want to read. It says the outcome of MPP Superdelegates Conference, not surprising. This is Professor Jampo speaking, and he was talking to Bernard yesterday on a point of view. Let me quickly get that story open. Yep, here we go. It says here, a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, has intimated that the outcome of the New Patriotic Party Superdelegates Conference held on Saturday, August 26th, did not come as a surprise. Vice President Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia won the new MPP Superdelegates Conference with a total of 629 votes, representing 68.15% of the vote. Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan came in with 132 votes, which is 14%. 14.30%, while the former Trade Minister Alan Chiromanteng placed third with 10.29% of the vote. Speaking on the point of view on Citi TV, Professor Jampo said that a couple of factors, including loyalty, played a prominent role in the results of the Superdelegates Conference. And I quote, "We know that Bawumia was going to emerge at the top, and I was actually expecting him to garner about 80% of the votes." Wow. Kennedy Japan was also going to get a significant number of votes because quite a number of MPs who voted felt that Ken is someone who would easily reward loyalty. Think about that.
So it's all about
you
that
vote,
right now.
yeah. I vote for you. You reward me.
me.
Okay. They believe that if they support him now, and there's time for them to also contest their elections, he will dole out funds to support them. And should he also become kingmaker and he's asked to bring up names for an appointment, he will easily point out those who gave him their loyalty. Apart from that, he's also a grassroots person, and so this placed him in a certain advantage over the others. I was not surprised by the votes that were garnered by Alan Chiromanteng. Even though a lot of people were expecting him to be second, he was between second and third. But what I believe was important is the fact that he was looking forward to being named as part of the top 5, and he got just that. Okay, so that's it for something from citynewsroom.com. You can go over to citynewsroom.com for all your credible news updates. City Business News has your business stories, and we have City Sports Online for sports stories as well. And speaking of sports, Sports Review is next. All right, so now today on sports, we have some news from the Ghana Bet Power Premier League. Now, the 2023-2024 Bet Power Premier League season will be launched at the Eastern Premier Hotel in Koforidua today. Now, the GFA President, Kirk Edwin Simeon Okweku, Vice President Mark Addo, Youth and Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf, Executive Council members of the GFA, presidents, chief executive officers, and the top officials of the 18 Premier League clubs and other invited guests will grace the occasion. Now, the 2023-2024 Bet Power Premier League season will commence on the weekend of Friday, September 15th through till Monday, September 18th, 2023. Staying with the league, and Ghana Football has announced that the Champion of Champions match will be played on September 3rd, 2023 at the Cape Coast Stadium. The match will be contested between league champions Midyama and FA Cup winners Dreams FC, and it will herald the start of the new Ghana Premier League season. Now, in global women's football, Spain prosecutors have opened a preliminary investigation into Spanish FA President Luis Rubiales for kissing Jenny Hermoso at the Women's World Cup final because it could constitute a crime of sexual assault. There has been widespread criticism of Rubiales after he kissed Spain forward Hermoso on their lips following Spain's 1-0 win over England 8 days ago. The prosecutor's office of the National Court had received 6 complaints, but was waiting for a complaint from the player before opening an investigation. It came after Hermoso released a statement on Friday saying she felt vulnerable and had been, quote, a victim of impulse-driven sexist out-of-place act without any consent on my part. And with that, we come to the end of sports. I don't know what you think about that particular incident.
Awkward. It's non-consensual. It
Yes.
is what it is. It is.
So you see, a lot of people thought that the two people, they had a thing.
Oh.
They were an item. They had a thing going on,
Right.
only to find out later that it wasn't anything about that.
It was being just him.
It was
being
him,
happy and
him
showing himself.
And I'm wondering to myself that if he can do this on a huge stage, global stage like that,
what else can he do?
What is his life really like?
Exactly. And you see,
wow.
my problem is the fact that he was defending it and he...
Yeah, and he says, I won't resign.
And he sort of
I won't step down.
And he called the outrage fake feminism.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah. No. He should get what is coming
Yeah.
to him. Honestly, we shouldn't countenance it at any level, seriously. Especially when people are powerful like that. You don't countenance such things. And so anyway, investigations are going on. So we'll see what happens, in the next few days and weeks that are coming up.